Good morning and welcome back to the 2023 Pro Champs. We are here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is Kelsey Percy.
I'm Charlie Mercer.
And I am Manisha Dariani.
So you are joining us this morning on the field pass of the Pro Champs. We are here to watch the third and fifth place consolation rounds. We've had, some really interesting results. People that maybe we didn't expect coming into the finals, and so now teams that people I'm sure had really high in their list of who they expected to see, instead being here in these consolation rounds. Charlie, any surprises for you?
I think Revolver losing in that semis game, it was a shocking upset for Revolver. You know, that win, they were in control for most of that game. Chain Lightning absolutely crushing in that universe point win. Absolutely devastating for that Revolver team. What about you, Manisha? What are you excited about for this field pass round?
You know, I totally understand and appreciate that there were expectations for teams here, but let's also understand this is the nation's best. This is a preview of nationals. So the fact that we are seeing, quote, upsets, to me, only shows that we are in for an exciting national championship.
Yes, that's one of the things that we keep talking about throughout this tournament. This is important, but it is not the most important. That some of the teams here may have goals other than winning, like testing systems, trying out new strategies, and that for several teams that we've talked to, the strategy has actually been to not show their full hand. They want to play a couple points of something and then take it away and not show it, and also giving teams that they might be competing against on the regional or national scene less film analysis, now that that's become more of a factor in planning. To be able to really analyze and break down what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, more than showing your hands, I mean, you never want to peak in September. I mean, we have a month, if not more, left of this season, and there is so much room for improvement, for growth, for strategic adjustments, and to your point, things like Field Pass make scouting much easier.
Yeah, we just, it's such a wealth of information. And we have never had, starting with last year, never had this much film, this much access, but also the variety of angles. I love, again, from a coaching space, love being able to see different views. So we do have some play on the field, looking top of your screen.
So we have Brute Squad and Sixers have completed their first point. Sixers scored their first point with a single possession offensive hold. The Pony Revolution game has just gotten underway. You can see in the upper right of your screen.
I think you meant Revolver. Listen, I know you're very excited to see the Cardenas sisters play today.
I would take Revolution. I would take Revolution in that matchup. So big huck look going up, fighting for positioning. And it is Pony that will come away with the D there.
You know, the exciting thing about this field pass is, one, it really helps people with ADHD.
So a series of quick turns here at the top right of your screen, this Pony versus Revolver. Looks like Ring came away with the first score. Bravo now with an opportunity to respond.
And for those of you at home, it's the third place games that you are seeing at the top of your screen, the fifth place games that you are seeing at the bottom of your screen, again, in the respective divisions of the women's and open divisions.
And for anyone wondering where the mixed divisions are, they will be in the next round, so at that 11 o'clock round.
Field Pass will be streaming the third place, fifth place, seventh place, and ninth place consolation rounds for mixed at the 11 o'clock round.
Well, you know what is nice is it's hotter but less windy today.
And I think that part of the trend that we've been seeing is that it's gotten progressively more windy throughout the day. I mean, I think baseline you're correct, and we have seen the wind increasing later in the afternoon. So by having this 9 a.m. round, conditions are really calm, and so I think this is more reflective of what we'll see in San Diego, where it's calmer in the morning and potentially getting windier in the afternoon.
So top of your screen, that Fury Molly game. Chastain did have the disc in the red zone just a couple feet from the end zone, and a really unusual soft error from her. Wasn't a pressure D, just a mis-execution. So maybe needing a little more caffeine or to shake off the sleep, but.
Well, that said, again, let's acknowledge that yesterday's conditions were, in a word, brutal, right? and you are now playing in a very different condition this morning. It's hot, it's sticky, and this air feels thick this morning. So your throws that you'd calibrated in yesterday may need a little bit more time this morning.
Well, and we can see that with what just happened on the Fury Molly Brown field, where Fury had an away shot that was an overthrow to the receiver into the end zone. We saw many of those yesterday, and again, having to recalibrate. And I think that particularly for this Fury Molly Brown matchup, both of those teams coming off of really grueling semifinal rounds that were emotionally taxing in addition to being physically challenging from yesterday.
Well, and one of the things we talked about, there was already high base heat, but then you add on the extra 10 to 15 degrees that the turf reflects back at you, and those are, conditions that will take it out of you for a couple of days.
And again, in this field pass, the only team that right now is on the turf is the Pony Revolver game.
So in the bottom right of your screen, Sixers close out a break against their regional rivals, Brute Squad. This is a really fun game because it'll be a preview of their regional matchups.
Looks like they're sending it back. Some sort of call is actually happening in that.
So the goal didn't stand.
Or at least not yet. The nature of self-officiation. And I think it's important to note right now, all teams at this point are on the board. Fury Molly yet to score.
That's reminiscent of, the last point of that semifinal game for Fury.
So another look, Molly, Chastain this time executes the backhand. Molly's on the board.
Score also by Pony up in the top right. And it looks like Sixers did come away with the score, but I think on the second score, as we call it.
Here you go.
Double score. That's why we do that in practice, right, as coaches?
It's true.
You got to make sure you can do it once, and then if something happens, you got to be able to do it again.
I love that recent mentality where it's not just momentum, it's intentionality of you have to be able to execute even when you get interrupted, even when you get set back, even when the defense gets a chance to catch up or set, you have to still be able to execute.
This is another one of those fun times on Field Pass where we actually have a break in all 4 games simultaneously, and this almost never happens.
You jinxed it, right?
How did I jinx it? It's already happening. I'm going to make it unhappen? Well, I would hope so. It's Frisbee. We're supposed to keep going. 85 seconds between
And if
points.
the jinx is that it's going to now happen again multiple times, I don't think we're upset about that either. So it gives us room to talk about not immediate play-by-play things.
Bravo pulling to Ring in the bottom left corner of your screen. Bravo in light, Ring in dark.
Probably a 1-1 score. Yep, there it is.
So touching back a little bit on the energy output that most teams had to do to execute the mental challenge of having lost after outputting all that energy, and the real importance of starting with energy today. Teams that start slow, teams that start tired can get into a hole, and that makes today's games really tough.
Ring had a really clean single possession holds in that game against Bravo. Revolver putting up a big shot. Was not able to be kept in.
Yeah, up on the Fury Molly screen, Awad Al-Karim had Octavia Payne in her sights and looked like just a miscommunication there. They overshoot, and now Molly will get a chance to break.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting question. We saw some pretty crazy upsets. Teams down. I mean, you obviously, hopefully many of you saw the Scandal Fury game yesterday where Scandal comes back from 4 down. BFG AMP, that was down 3. The question I think for these teams on day 3 is if they're starting to get this 3-point lead, do teams, I'm not saying shut it down, but what's the fight to get back?
I mean, the fight to get back is seedings for nationals is a big one. There will be the World Cup draw situation that will certainly change how national seedings happen, but it does mean that the difference between being a 4 seed, which gets you the top, like a top 4 ranked team, would get you a 1 seed in a pool, as opposed to being a 5-3 team, which would get you a 2 seed in a pool. And that's what a lot of these teams are playing for right now.
Yeah, that shot to Kawabata Pulls it in. Nice response from Molly. That is their first break.
That's a great question. Do you think teams appreciate that right now? Again, to your point, Charlie, this is a new nationals format that USAU is experimenting with this year. And I'm going to say experimenting because, honestly, who knows what this is going to really look like. Are teams appreciative of the fact that in some ways their fate is not quite in their hands unless they're one of the top 4 seeds coming into nationals?
And even then, you know, the difference between every pool depends on the relative strength of the team. I mean, I'm excited about this new seeding format because I think that sometimes we rely too heavily on the seedings and it can make some pools much more challenging than others.
Cody Spicer there with the score for Bravo. Ring had put on some pressure, but Bravo able to break through to the break side, punch it into the end zone, no problem.
Brute was able to get a hold on their second try there. You saw them just pulling. Brute with an opportunity to respond with a break of their own.
Immediate turnover, looks like.
We can really see the intense defense that the Sixers have become known for. You know, from watching their play, they have the ability to compete with the top tier teams, with Molly, with Fury, but they're not able to put together a complete game to be able to ride out to surpass either of those elite teams. But their tenacious, aggressive offense and defense has really made a name for themselves, both over the course of the longevity of the team and this weekend.
So on that Brute Sixers, it looks like Ishmael is discussing with Cunningham. Cunningham saying she thinks she got to the disc first. But it, as we see it go, often goes to the offense, and that will be the result here.
All this to say, Ring Bravo really off to a, I would say, fast start, 2-2. Exciting to see where that game turns out. Both teams have a lot to prove, have a lot of, you know, again, in terms of their weekend, perhaps underperforming, one would argue, or maybe overperforming if you look at their relative seeds coming in.
Yeah, seeds, I will say seeds were interesting coming into this tournament. And not necessarily wrong based on the performances to date. Whew, good bit of contact there, but Youngst will come down with the disc.
Yeah, I think that so far this Ring Bravo game has been the cleanest game that we've seen with the fewest number of turns. Lots of really big aggressive huck shots going up and being completed. It's a really great body positioning read by him there.
Yeah, I mean, even thinking about the format of this tournament, right? You had to finish top 3 in your pool to even get a chance at the pre-semis. Outside of that, you could fight your way, quote, back up, but then you were playing, so the instance of both Ring and Bravo, they were out from the get, let's call it, and then have played their way back in, having then, for Ring, beat Machine, and for Bravo, beat Double Wide.
That was an incredible block for Coco Pellegrini in the bottom right of your screen for Brute Squad. Huck went out from Sixers, and Colette just jumped 2 hands straight up in the air for that block. Really phenomenal.
Looks like a score in the top right. Pony probably tying that game up at this point.
With that, Brute responded to put themselves back on the board.
Yeah, the pacing of these third place games definitely going a bit slower, and I won't say it was necessarily more defensively contested, though I think that's a bit of the case. But absolutely seen a lot more turns, I would say.
And now we're getting a chance to just focus on this Ring Bravo game. Looks like Ring coming out in a zone look, what looks like almost like a 3-person cup. What do y'all think?
Junk look, definitely a handler sag. It doesn't look like they're worrying so much about putting on a mark as absorbing. Bravo able to punch past it pretty easily.
I think I would have called it like a 3-3-1, sort of like Wally-like thing.
Wally-like thing.
That's the technical term. But really, in both instances, we're starting to see just on the left, very junky. On the right, just very hard person defense coming from Brute right now, trying to get a stop on Sixers.
Yeah, so Cody Spicer had the first look there. Defense engaged him. He took a fall, but had a teammate there to pick up the trash.
We can see the Sixers shot going out of bounds, unable to get reeled in, gives Brute another opportunity with the disc. Can, after going down 0-2 and scoring 2 in a row, can they make it 3? Can they take the momentum firmly back in hand of this game? They're well on their way.
Another look here at that contact. Eric Taylor with the score, but Spicer taking all the attention with that.
Brute now with the disc on the bottom right.
Yeah, Brute has been a little inconsistent this tournament, showing moments of really high ceiling. But I think also showing the youth and some of the lack of depth that they're having to redevelop roles and players to fill those needs. Good future, but not there yet.
Well, I'm going to offer a little pushback on that. I mean, looking at Brute Squad's schedule this tournament, and again, let's be clear, they're 3-3 coming into this game, into this game right now.
Oh, okay.
Their losses are to Phoenix, Scandal, Molly. Those are their losses. And so, you think about where those other teams are. I mean, the fact of the matter is they should and maybe really need to be in that 3-place game right now. And sometimes the nature of these tournaments mean that they're out. But if you look at who they're losing to, and again, let's talk about the 2 teams that are in the final and one of the teams that are in the third-place game, that's where Brute is right now. So is it an underperformance, or is it that they ran into what may be the top 4-5 teams at Nationals?
Oh, I'm not saying an underperformance. I just don't think that they are the powerhouse. I think they've rebuilding. I think they've shown some moments of real brilliance that have gotten them to where they are.
And I've said this before, I'm calling Brute Squad as a quarterfinals team because of exactly what you just named, that they are able to consistently beat teams that are sort of in that next tier below them, the Parches and the Traffics, and they are losing to the Phoenixes and the Scandals and they haven't played Fury, but and the Molly Browns. I think that from this tournament, we really are seeing that Fury, Molly Brown, Scandal, and Phoenix are asserting themselves as the top 4 in the women's division going into Nationals. And certainly the semis favorite for that weekend.
Yeah, I think they are very, very pre-quarters for sure, very quarters capable. Fury with a really quick, just kind of error like a focus turn. Phillips activating. And it is Phillips who will take the score for Molly.
Fury had another, just a few moments prior, quick turn error of not fully concentrating bobble inside the end zone, giving Molly lots of chances.
I mean, this is a matchup that this is their 3rd time this season. Played together at Pro Elite, Molly taking the win on double game point. Played against each other. Earlier this tournament, Fury taking the win 15-12. Certainly at the best of 3 now. Let's see who takes this win.
Yeah, I think that Fury just looks unfocused right now. They're not as dialed in as they normally are.
So top right of your screen, Jimmy Mickle went for the leap. Couldn't quite make the read, but did come down with a disc anyways, showing some patience there. Score for Pony.
That's an important score. Revolver is starting to run away with that. Is starting to run away with that game. Their focus. Pony is certainly, when you talk about underperforming, there are a lot of really high expectations for Pony coming into this weekend, particularly coming off of that AUDL championship for the New York Empire and seeing how unstoppable. People have been talking about the, significant impact players who are missing from this weekend and how that's made a difference for the roster. But it is, they got thrashed in their semis with Truck Stop yesterday. And I think that there will be a lot of talk if they drop this game as their sort of perceived tournament favorites They're not playing like it, but if they lose this game to Revolver, there will be a lot of question marks for them moving forward.
And they are missing some strong personnel, but they have a lot of very strong personnel still here. And I think what we're seeing is not just, key role players, but a lack of other players stepping up, which you should see in a team that has this depth.
Well, first of all, just acknowledge, great grab in the bottom right corner by Sixers. But big thing, to continue on this conversation about Revolver and Pony, let's also acknowledge Revolver in many ways is punching up.
Yes.
Which is exciting to see. As a Bay Area native, it's very exciting to see.
Yes, they are punching up. They're still a young team. There was that Revolver heyday where they looked absolutely unstoppable, and they've certainly taken.
Were unstoppable. It was an era.
Yeah, and that era has taken a step back. It's faded a little bit, and now this could be the beginning of the next resurgence for the next Revolver era, with that young team having enough time to rebuild and develop to have the experience to put together strong performances against all of the top contender teams.
It's a generational shift for sure. If you consider the average age probably of Revolver, if someone did the math, versus what I suspect is the average age of Pony. And in some ways, one would argue maybe that's what we're seeing also in this Fury Molly, is a generational diversion, let's call it.
That's an interesting take.
I would bet that the average age of Fury is something like 28 plus.
No, 30.
30 at least?
Yeah.
Okay, and average age of Molly Brown is probably
sub 30.
Well, I would say even potentially
26.
26, right? And I think similarly for Revolver, of course the games we're talking about are off our screen, but for Revolver and Pony, you might have something comparable.
Well, that's the thing, though. Revolver has a number of players coming in who are currently still actively in college. But all this to say, let's focus what's on the screen.
Brute Squad reeling in a point there to go up 4-3 against the Sixers.
Ring and Bravo still staying close. Bravo currently with possession, but Ring continuing with tenacious pressure.
Getting a replay of the Brute Squad score in the bottom right-hand corner. That intense defensive pressure from Sixers we're absolutely seeing. And Brute Squad doing a great job moving the disc around to the break side for that score.
Chastain with a gorgeous continue around to the break side of the end zone. It does look like it will be called back. I don't know if there's a pick that affected her player apparently, because they are bringing it back. She will keep the disc. So in the red zone for Molly. Big Hut goes up. 2 Revolver defenders in the area, but it is Pony that comes down and is taking up the trash.
This is why you catch your Ds.
And that is Oscar with the score there. Higgins showing some frustration.
It's also why you send help, because you had the 2 defenders, you had the 1 offense that was there, and the person who caught it was the second trailing Pony offense, if you look at this replay, who came in and was able to read the angle of the disc and come in for that goal.
In a lot of ways, the Revolver players effectively did the person, they just didn't play the disc. And that's a go back and forth of, I will often tell players that especially if they can't see the disc, defend the player. Like, get to the body, because if you stand there and you're turning circles, you're not creating that pressure. But they had eyes on the disc, bodied up. Oscar with a good read.
Bottom right of your screen, Sixers had a foul on the throw, disc coming back to the Sixers. Bravo with the disc on the left side of your screen. Really solid offensive possession, moving the disc well.
Yeah, Spicer just being almost every other for this Bravo offense.
And on the right, Brute with a chance to break.
So it looks like a foul call, saying there was maybe some contact on that Bravo offensive point. A little bit of a discussion there. We'll see where it ends up.
And Brute just outside the end zone.
Revolver unwinds a big huck, but it is too far, not nearly enough touch. We've said there's not as much wind. There's still got some.
And Brute squeezing that into the most improbable of corners. Angela Zhu looks like with the grab there.
Zhu has been an absolute rock for this Brute squad this weekend.
Bravo retained the disc coming out of that foul call, but then on the following pass, it was easily swatted away by Ring. Ring takes possession with a chance to break.
So going back to Zhu, loved that celebration and excitement. But she truly has just been a role filler. She's started on a lot of their offensive points, but they crossed her over, especially on upwind points, to provide steady hands.
Correction, Ring with a chance to hold. They did start on offense.
Chastain with the disc for Molly.
Ooh, getting a replay of the Pony Revolver play in the upper right of your screen. Bid just out of reach for Pony.
And this turf is unforgiving. So you saw, if you didn't on the screen, taking a sub there. That turf is hard.
So Molly will punch in a score. It was interesting because I was about to say they had stranded the person with the disc. Chastain made a reset cut, was looked off and so cleared out, and there was no one else back there but firing on the end zone and connecting.
That was something I noticed from Molly yesterday, is that they're possession oriented there were many points, not always, but they were possession oriented for much of the field. And then they would put up shots outside of the end zone that they weren't taking, so that they were giving other teams opportunities. They had to work the full length of the field. But you wonder if you had just been a little bit more possession oriented, instead of taking like the blade over the top or the creative throw that's like the inside shot to the corner, if you just dumped and swung it a little bit more and kept possession, then you could have scored instead of taking that higher risk shot. But that wouldn't be the Molly Brown style of play. That is aggressive and spicy and really exciting to watch.
Well, we have two tie games in the men's division, open division at this point. Pony taking the lead on Revolver, Ring currently with the lead on Bravo, showing the replay of Ring's last score that allowed them to take the 5-4 lead.
Brute and Sixers also 5-4.
Another drop by Fury, giving Molly Brown the disc again. Fury just looks really rattled.
That was exactly the word I was going to say. It's an unusual showing for them. Not seen nearly the defensive intensity, and Molly just coming out with way more energy. Valeria Cardenas currently with the disc. She'll shoot it across field. Manuela Cardenas now finds Perez in the around space. Love how Perez is attacking the disc.
Yeah, Perez played really well yesterday. Was a huge anchor for them in the backfield.
You see a stoppage of play happening in the ring. Bravo looks like Bravo with the disc, having some trouble executing out of their vert stack. Can't really find that inlet pass that they're looking for right now.
Sisters connecting, but Manuela still with the disc, directing traffic. Good give and go action, and that is Akerson with the score.
And did you notice that they kept possession and they dumped and swung and made sure they used their reset system until they had a lovely, easy around shot that Manu can hit all day in that space. Gold star, Molly Brown.
Stamp of approval, gold star.
Well, right now, Brute again with the disc in the bottom right. And looks like Bravo gave up the disc. Ring now with a chance.
Stoppage on the field for Revo. Kern's currently with the disc.
Revolver.
Did I say Revolution again? Okay. Oh, good Lord.
Directing
Good
your attention
Lord.
to the bottom left of the screen, Ring is able to close that out. So that is the first break of the game and lets them go up 6-4 over Bravo.
And Revolver now tying the game with Pony.
We have Chastain and the sisters on the screen. It has to be a Revolution game, right?
Well, and again, I'm going to go back to this point about seeing Revolver in these games now. You know, you're not used to the REV in the last couple of years. And now to have their name and to be in this space, again, let's be clear, they were 1 point away from being in the finals. And now playing against Pony, this is a great spot, in my opinion, for Revolver to be in, and a chance, really, again, to demonstrate that they are a team to contend with at Nationals.
So something I haven't talked about this weekend, and it's something that I do give a lot of thought about, are communities that are doing a good job of building Ultimate as a sport. You're looking at the Denver area, Johnny Bravo and Molly. You're looking at the Bay Area.
So on the screen, we are seeing a replay of the Brute Squad goal that was just happening, and now we are getting a play of Eli Kearns, again, putting really touch throws. We saw so much of that yesterday for the Revolver goal there.
High release for Sawyer Thompson. That's a beautiful connection. So again, just circling back to, these are communities that are investing in their youth, that have strong college programs, and you're seeing, yes, older players where it comes to Bay Area, but also some development of younger players as well, and continued growth in the sport for teams that have been around for over a decade.
I'm going to say that that's true of Revolver. And I can say this because I have a personal investment in this. So Eli Kearns and myself actually coach a boys U20 club team in the Bay Area, of which now 4, if not 5 of them are playing on Revolver. I joke with Eli Kearns that basically he decided to coach this team as a recruiting mechanism.
Pipeline.
For Revolver.
It's a real thing.
It is a real thing. And to your point, a lot of communities are fully understanding and investing in the idea that the youth are the future. Molly themselves picked up a number of young players coming out of the University of Colorado this year that are clearly making impacts. You are seeing U20 players, U24 players making their way in to these upper echelons of the club division.
With incredibly high skill levels too, because of the exposure now in the high school and middle school ages. I love it. I absolutely love
me too.
it.
I mean,
I am more than mildly jealous.
I mean, yeah, as someone who gets to coach, has the privilege of coaching pretty much every division, I will offer that the U20 boys has been truly my favorite division to coach.
That's so much fun.
Yeah, and the ceilings are so high. It's pretty absurd. It made me very happy that I retired. Let me be clear about that.
Well, how are your other teams going to feel about that statement, that they're your favorite to coach?
That they need to step up. That's how they're going to feel.
No, but I want to include Boston as an area. A lot of really rich history. Ironside, long stalwart, but now you see teams like Sprocket. And Brute Squad still continuing to find ways to take really core players and build and develop new players, and we need these teams so players have a place to go to get this elite exposure.
In the upper left of your score, you see a pass to Nguyen for the goal. Another Molly Brown score. They're, really asserting themselves. Fury, bidding, putting out effort, but Molly clearly in control of this game.
Well, let's be clear. Both of these teams are teams of runs. This is what we've seen. It is not at all surprise. You got to wait and see how this really plays out. But the thing I'm looking at is the bottom left right now. Ring now up 7-4 on Bravo. My question there is, does Bravo have the legs, the skill, strategy, let's not call it skill, the strategy to be able to climb their way back in to that game? That's going to be the real question. I do not look at a score line like 6-2 and say that game is over at all.
Bravo as the defending national champions. And, I think that any team that's counting them out is at their own peril. They have the ability to, the athleticism to put together really strong runs. Their club season so far this year has been okay, but not.
What does the word okay mean? Let's analyze that word.
Well, let's pull up their results from the season, and then we'll have an in-depth analysis of what okay looks like.
All right, that's fair.
Revolver with another connection in the deep space. That time instead finding Lou. They have just, and to be clear, played this field, this wind orientation yesterday, had exposure. I do think those reps are valuable. But just the execution of these shots, really enjoying the deep looks that are going with touch in spite of the wind.
So just like you were talking about Brute Squad earlier, about like, let's look at who their losses are to. So far, Revolver's losses have been to Pony, Truck Stop.
Bravos.
Sorry. Bravo's losses have been to Pony, Truck Stop, Machine, Revolver, Chain. These are all really elite top tier teams that are, either like in semis or like we're certainly in pre-semis for this tournament. And so they, and they're beating teams like Double Wide and Slam and Rhino and Vault that are out of contention at this point. And so I think that they are, Bravo right now, similar to Brute Squad, is asserting themselves as a quarterfinals caliber team, and pushing their ceiling for how far they can go and whether or not they'll be able to repeat.
Sixers with a D there against Brute Squad. Brute Squad trying to take the 7-6 lead, but really nice, assertive defensive block there coming from Sixers.
Yeah, Cassie Swatchford there with the D, just swatted it away. Had the inside lane.
Still 6-6 games for both Brute and for the Pony Revolver game right now. Again, just tight games right now happening between these two teams. Be a real interesting question to see who takes half for both of these games. Again, 5th place game on the Brute side, 3rd place game on the Open side.
Aggressive shot goes up. That's what we expect in this Brute Squad Sixers game. Looks like there's a call on the field. Players are talking.
Sorry, that was Sarah Jacobson with the D for Sixers, not Swafford.
All this to say, right now, Pony with the disc looks like just about 15 yards outside the end zone line. And currently Ring with a chance to potentially take half on the top left of your screen. Also just outside the end zone line, getting into their end zone set right now. Vertical stack, always with a little bit of chaos is how I describe end zone.
Oh, my.
Pony able to punch it in the upper right of your screen, taking the lead 7-6 over Revolver.
And Ring just hanging that disc a little too high on the top left of your screen. Bravo able to get the D, and now with a chance in this instance for Bravo to hold and start to close that gap that we were talking about, that 3-point lead that Ring has.
And Mataraju had a just spectacular grab, but maybe the adrenaline of that hanging the throw up too high.
Hammer couldn't quite connect.
I think you start to see the crossfield hammer as almost a sign of desperation, of part of your systems falling apart.
Big reactions on either side of you, Charlie. As a team that drilled hammers, but also AUDL. But we spent hours working hammers. It's part of a system, but it needs to be part of your system if that's what you're going. You have to practice the execution and not use it as a bailout.
But in this situation, I would argue that it was a bailout. Like, the hammer was to covered players.
Situation, yes. Your statement, no.
Ring with the Huck just sailing out of bounds, giving just the back to Bravo. I mean, the only point I was going to offer about the hammer is that it is part of a repertoire of throws that throwers are learning. And throwers, as I describe throwers, they're quarterbacks. Their job is to go through progressions. And if in the progression you see an open break side throw, if within your repertoire a hammer exists, then be able to use it.
The emphatic spike from Ring as they punch that in. Ring is rising. Ring is on fire.
Wait a second. I think I've heard that before.
And Ring takes themselves to half 8-4 over Bravo. You can see the joy and celebration from them, feeling strong about their first half performance.
You can see the traditional celebration, the Ring, downward thumbs, boo, they boo themselves. A little bit less of that reputation as they had from a couple years ago of the extra chip on their shoulder personality, but the celebration's still there.
And again, now that game going into half, it looks like Fury being able to get a D, preventing Molly from being able to take a 7-3 lead in that game.
And for Fury, Imanishi coming down with a really clutch grab.
And right now on the top right of your screen, it looks like Pony is now pulling to try and take a break for half. And at the bottom right of your screen, Sixers currently with the disc, up 7-6 on Brute.
Excellent flow from Fury. They haven't looked that clean. And the bookends for Imanishi.
She's been a really critical pickup as a Japanese World Games player, and has been a total gift for Fury, and has been playing a large role for them this weekend. Also a really fun player to watch.
And right now, Revolution with the, sorry, I just did it again. You all have ruined me. Revolver.
Y'all, Charlie.
It's true. I blame Charlie for a lot of things. Revolver with the disc about 20 yards outside the end zone, looking to tie up that game on the top right of your screen right now. Again, bottom left, you will see, or was seeing, that the ring game is currently at half. So at this point, we are going to focus on this Pony Revolver game.
Not able to hold on to that grab for Revolver, giving Pony the chance to get that break to half that they are in search of, trying to redeem themselves after the play from yesterday.
Is it redemption? I mean, Truck is a very good team.
(15-7), that was the final score.
I hear that. And in fairness, for those at home, in the club division, we talk about, like, what is a very good game. And in a 15-7, that is a drubbing. To your point, that is a drubbing.
So one thing I'll point out is part of, I think, is also play style. If you look at track, and we, to be clear, not the AUDL. So looking again, I want to pause myself on this. Glorious D from Imanishi. This just tic-tac-toe, beautiful flow, shot from Opie Payne, finds Imanishi. Imanishi got the D, the athletic play, and then ran the entire length of the field, and is the score at the other end.
Fury with the disc back in their hands with a chance for a break to reassert that they belong in this game and they can go on these break runs that you are talking about.
It's just been the nature of these games. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, any game that Fury has been a part of, it's been a game of runs. They give up 3 or 4 in a row, then they get 4 in a row, then they give up 3 in a row, and then they get back 3 in a row.
So probably not the consistency that they would love to see, but the fire's there, the ability to make the plays.
But also not the Fury of classic of yore,
yes.
Right? Fury of yore was much more consistent about holding as opposed to being as streaky as this version of Fury seems to be.
Pony now with a chance, about to take half, looks like, on the top right of your screen.
A bit of a resurgence from Pony.
And that's half.
Cam Warner with the score there.
Pony started that half on D, so they have been able to earn themselves that half break going into half against Revolver. If you take a look in the upper right of your screen, we'll see the Pony block. Revolver with the disc now. Big shot, double coverage.
And this is a shot that had worked before with Lou as the target. Really excellent run through D. And then just taking care of business. I love the discipline and then attacking against the grain after moving all the defenders. Nice work from Pony.
Takes that game into half as well.
So I want to, I'll hold the Pony conversation because I want to circle back to this Pony truck at some point, but we got time.
Well, right now we are just left with our women's games. Again, on the left, you are seeing the 3rd place game between Fury and Molly. On the right, the 5th place game between Brute and Sixers. Close game between both teams. Right now, a timeout on the right of your screen. Sixers looking to punch in the goal for half. And on the left of your screen right now, looks like Molly with the disc, looking to extend their lead, or I guess re-cushion their lead, let's call it. Throwing into double coverage there now, giving Fury back the disc.
Opie Payne with the disc, passes it off. Back to Payne.
This really crisp movement. I also love the space that Fury made in the end zone.
And again, game of runs. Now we're tied.
Goal to Dina Elimelech. Frequently seen in the end zone area.
And again, for those of you expecting to see the open games right now, both are currently at half. Revolver down 8-6 to Pony. Ring up 8-4, if I'm not mistaken.
On the left side of your screen, this looks like the Fury offense that we're used to seeing. Able to move the disc quickly and confidently to find the open holes.
Yeah, looking much more disciplined in the red zone. Though I will say the point before that, they almost had, it looked like too many cuts, and unless that is part of their strategy to vacate the end zone and then make that, you know, kind of back end zone attack more viable. Didn't look like it at the time, but the thrower was patient.
And Sixers there with the goal for half.
It was strong offense from Sixers, moving the disc across the field. You know, moving it to the break side to be able to find an open player who was able to toe that in. So that takes that game to half as well.
You know, I will offer one of the fun things about watching the field pass and just being able to see, oh, what a great D.
Yeah, we're seeing some feats of athleticism here between these Brute and Sixers teams.
But what I was going to offer is it's actually really fun to watch the celebrations, to watch the interactions of the players between points, see how both coaches and team-wise, teams either all are on the field together waiting for the next call or waiting on the sideline for the next set of players to be called onto the field. But again, 3 games at this point at half, only game not yet to have reached half, Fury Molly on the top left of your screen.
So we are going to take a moment. You've got Ring coming back in. 3 games at half. Fury and Molly, a little slower pace, but trading blows. See you back shortly.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome.
Regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds, defy the naysayers.
And even defy gravity.
A place where it's accepted that success
doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave, to the determined.
A place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
Learn to high-five strangers.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play Ultimate, we live Ultimate.
The last 50 years have seen a lot of positive change
around a whole range of important issues.
And some things remain reassuringly unchanged.
Like the spirit of our game.
Ultimate is 50 years young
and still a perfect circle
of fair play,
athletic pursuit,
and camaraderie.
In fact, Ultimate was a social network
before social networks even existed.
Respetamos nuestras diferencias
and understand the value that they add.
The revolution of the disc in flight continues to prove
that there's nothing we can't achieve
when we pull together.
Long live Ultimate.
Larga vida Ultimate.
Long live Ultimate.
Welcome back to the action where we are seeing a string from Fury, a response. They have scored 5 consecutive goals and are looking to put the pressure on and make it a 6th.
And on the right of your screen, looks like we're coming out of half for Ring Bravo. The score reading 8-5.
Bravo had scored 1.
Ah.
Scored 1 coming out of half. Ring now taking a shot.
Will it hang? Will it hang? Will it hang?
I think he gave up on that too soon.
What we missed on our screen was that Bravo held on their first point out of half, which was starting right as we went into our break, which is why we're coming back in at 8-5.
Yes. Matt Rader. Matt Rader, you're getting old. Finish your cut.
I'm sure he'll listen to this and have some words.
He's got my number.
It's fine. He spent his best years with Seattle. Just come back to Seattle. We love you. We'll take you.
Molly finally breaking that string of scores from Fury, now tying up that game on your left of your screen at 7-7.
Trading body blows. Let's go.
Pony and Revolver coming out of half as well. Revolver pulling to Pony. That's certainly not what they want when Pony took half, giving them an offensive opportunity right off the bat.
I will say I think Revolver is a defensive team, so I think this is great to have their D-line come out of half and say, earn a break. Let's make a statement immediately.
Yeah. I think mentality-wise, it's certainly a good place for them to be.
Yesterday, Coach Malika Anderson was talking about the importance of having those flat marks for Revolver, trying to stop these huck looks from Chain, and in this case, Pony. You could see them attempting to do that there, only partially successfully.
Yeah, Harper Garvey usually sends the throws, but instead cutting deep, he'll take the score. 2 points for Bravo.
Yeah, starting to close this gap, and we keep talking about this. Is that 4-point gap insurmountable? And at the top left of your screen right now, Molly Fury still trying to play out to half. We haven't even gotten there yet.
It's a battle. I mean, it's exactly like you were saying. It's been trading runs and both teams not looking as crisp as they often do.
Potentially unpopular opinion. Is it worth doing the less exciting, less creative, more boring? If you burn less energy, runs are exciting, but they also take a lot of energy. And if you're constantly baking on runs versus just really focusing on clean process ultimate, you talked about the different characteristics or personalities of this Fury team.
Fury on the end zone to take themselves to half. Looks like a hand block.
Miscommunication with Imanishi. Imanishi went out blind instead of going back into the reset space. Chastain with an incredible bid, but can't come up with it. Payne on the line, and they are red zone all the way. Fury punches it in.
Taking them to half.
Now focusing on the top right of your screen, Pony pulling to Revolver. Revolver looking to try and now hold to keep the 2-point lead or 2-point game within sight. Looks like a deep hop coming from Revolver. Nice grab. Top right of your screen. Revolver now just outside the end zone. And with the easy hold.
So after this back and forth with Molly starting up so hot, Fury coming back with their resurgence to take half. 8-7 Fury over Molly.
It just means the first half didn't happen. That's all that means. Now you're just moving on to the second half. We have 3 second halves happening on your screen right now. And again, you're seeing the replay at the top right of your screen. Revolver with the huck, then outside the end zone line. Easy score for the hold. the top right, left of your screen, looks like Ring punching it in. Cheeky little throw there, Io.
Sixers confidently marching it down the field in the bottom of your screen. Some really nice spacing from them, allowing for really big, clear shots to receivers.
I love that shot to the inside and their ability to reverse the field.
You know, this is what Sixers offense looks like when they're playing, you know, some of their best.
Looks like now just outside the end zone. And you can always tell because there's a pause where everyone's like, wait, what are we doing?
That was smooth. Really good looking offense from Sixers.
Goal by Brittany DeSantos for Sixers there.
That score now at the bottom will be 9-6 or 6-9, depending on your perspective. Pony now with the disc at the top right of your screen. Again, still a 2-point game with that game.
Ring getting their hold on their second try, so to take them up 9-6 over Bravo.
Again, let's be clear, that's still Bravo had 2 goals to come out of half, so
absolutely
hold in a break.
But Ring still had to hold the score. Just, you know, took some extra time.
So Ring with their defense back out there.
Obviously a discussion happening on the right of your screen. It looks like something on the mark, perhaps. Disc is now back in play.
May have been a high stall count. Bravo taking a shot. It is pulled in.
Still not in. Now you're in.
Pulled down and then put in. There we go. I appreciate the support.
Holtzling to a key for that score for Bravo.
And Pony with the score on the top right of your screen as well.
I appreciated the clarification of they're not in yet.
Getting a replay of that in the top left of your screen. Big deep shot and Sky.
And this is a strong second half for Bravo. I mean, they've got to be really pleased with how much, again, that they've closed the gap. Looks like a contested grab in the Brute Sixers game that we're seeing right now.
That was Jaylee Cruz with the bid there for Brute Squad.
About to see the replay.
Yeah, she looked a little shaken.
Two defenders, getting your feet caught up. It's a pretty hard hit.
I appreciate cutters who go up with 2 hands. I got to say that. I mean, especially when you know you're about to get sandwiched between players, it's really important to assert the space that you have above you. And the best way to often do that is to go up with 2 hands. I know a lot of players presume that you should go up with 1 hand. Now, in fairness, there's an argument to me that you'll jump a little bit higher, but you're actually less secure with the disc when you only go up with 1 hand. Just a technical tip.
It actually drives me bonkers when I watch players go up with 1 hand. Not so much for skying, but when they're like attacking frisbees or when they're catching an under with 1 hand when they could be using 2. Like it just having that security of having 2 hands on a disc to give you that extra security. Ooh, on the right side of your screen.
Nice second effort by Revolver. This goes back to catch your D's.
Yeah, Kevin Tien was so effective for Revolver yesterday. Made some good plays, but his focus and tenacity in the end zone was really key for them, coming through big again today.
That was Nathan buckled with the D for
The not D.
the almost D. You're right. The almost D for Bravo.
It's almost worse that you said his name.
With the assist.
With the assist.
It sucks, but it's true.
But it was a great effort.
It would have been a completion, but not a goal without that tip. Ring and Bravo trading body shots. Tough point, Ring put it in. Focusing here on Brute and Sixers. Sixers still in control, but Brute is not out of this game. Off the fingertips, and now Brute will get a chance to respond.
Yeah, it's these sorts of plays that give Brute the chance to make a play. You know, Sixers is being really aggressive.
Looks like there's an injury call in this Sixers game. Again, you notice that the hand signals are used to help for folks like us on the sideline and who are watching at home get a sense of what's happening on the field. Injury call now with, who's coming in?
Ismail.
And, you know, have to give appreciation to Brute Squad. They, from the beginning of the weekend, were talking about how they were going to be process-oriented, and they were focused not on wins and losses, but on staying with their strategies and their growth throughout the course of the weekend. And I do think that they have been successfully demonstrating that. I think that over the course of the weekend, we have seen Brute gel together more offensively, play tighter defense, and they are looking crisper. And, you know, with that process orientation, being successful in that, even if they haven't necessarily had the outcomes that they're looking for this weekend.
Brute in a tight, high stall situation, gets the reset bail out now, big side of the field. Brute now utilizing quick movement to try and get closer and closer to the end zone. Not yet in the end zone there with that Brute offense.
So that was Oscar for Pony with the assist to Randolph.
And a stall.
Oh.
A stall just outside the end zone for Brute Squad. Now Sixers with the disc. It was a fast 10 seconds.
Huge Bravo grab in the upper left of your screen.
You know, it's interesting when you have field pass, you get to see different strategies being employed in the exact same conditions by teams.
Number 24, Matthew Aggie with that sky for the goal for Bravo.
Like a lot of high, floaty looks coming from both Ring and Bravo, resulting in, you know, great grabs, but plays that are hanging.
There could be better execution is what we're saying. We went on a rant about hospital. I went on a rant yesterday about hospital passes.
We had a number of rants on a variety of topics yesterday. We're actually doing less ranting today. Is that better or worse?
I mean, sometimes I think rants are best left off live in like podcast territory, which is actually where I was going to take another Pony versus Trek conversation of like, it probably belongs in a podcast and like not on this live.
But the field pass commentary is a really fun space where
Yes.
it is a conversation. And like you're saying, you're getting to see so many different styles of play and able to do the analysis across divisions and across teams.
Again, now we're back to all 4 games now, all in the second half. You can see on the top left of your screen, Fury Molly coming out of their first half game. Molly with the disc right now. Again, that is the 3rd place game in the women's division. Again, similarly on the top right of your screen, you're seeing the 3rd place game in the open division between Revolver and Pony. Revolver currently with the disc in black. Pony on defense down. And then on the bottom of your screen, you are seeing the 5th place games in the open and women's divisions respectively.
Loved that high release backhand from Molly, assist for the score. That coming from Taggart, who just took so many touches and reps for Molly yesterday.
Getting a replay of that in the upper left of your screen.
And the bottom left right now, Ring with the disc, putting the disc downfield, Bravo with the block.
Call on the field for Pony Revolver.
Big shot goes up. Bravo just short of the end zone. We'll call a timeout. Looked around and saw more defenders than teammates.
And makes sense. Again, Bravo was down 4 at half. This is a chance for them to close that lead down to 1. I love the timeout call there. I generally do not like timeout calls when you are in motion and have the strategic advantage of being ahead of everyone, but I see the value of wanting to be sure in this case.
Brute Squad shot goes up.
2 hands. 2 hands.
Clearly establishing their vertical space. Lena Troutman with the goal there.
Looks like we have a timeout call on the top right of your screen as well.
Brute Squad will be happy to have brought themselves back within 1 against the Sixers.
And on the top left of your screen, Molly with the pull. Tie game, 3rd place between Fury and Molly.
Zooming in on that game, centering to Jessie O'Connor, passing to Carolyn Finney. Finney with the shot up the middle of the field, overthrows the receiver.
And Molly with a chance to respond with a huck of their own, but overthrown, giving Fury this disc back. And now we see Bravo coming out of the timeout, unfortunately, with a turn. Ugh. I have to tell you, I want someone to do a statistical analysis on how successful you actually are if you call a timeout with 5 yards outside the end zone. Truly, I don't think the numbers are going to bear out very well.
Second effort attempt catch swatted away by Molly Brown. Kawabata putting it into play.
A break for Molly.
Finds Akerson in the end zone. Akerson's been a scoring machine this weekend.
And now Pony on the top right of your screen, having come out of their own timeout, looking to extend their lead.
Ring with the ball in the bottom left of your screen.
Again, having Bravo turned it over on their end zone line. Could have been a 1-point game. Now Ring with a chance to extend the lead.
Pick call on the field for Ring.
And looks like Brute with the disc down on the bottom right of your screen, having just taken a D away, or gotten a D against Sixers in the end zone. Pony very patient on the top right of your screen right now.
I think they've done more to hit their stride. Good hands there from Marquez Brownlee, but just the quick pop out into space, not working for them.
As I said, nice patience, of course. They have to prove me wrong.
Commentator's curse.
That's true. That gives Revolver the disc back. And, sorry, bottom left. Bravo with the disc.
Replay in the bottom right.
Really Scuber for the right throw. Charlie, do you agree?
Melanowski with a big grab there to, I think, Amy Zhu for the goal for Brute Squad.
Holtaling for Bravo with the effort. Creative throwing. That was a very creative scoobering throw. The effort from the Bravo player. Wow.
Well, again, now a 1-point game for Ring and Bravo.
And Brute Squad Sixers are now tied up.
As are Fury Molly.
Look again at this grab. Bottom left of your screen.
Well,
that was the grab you were talking about?
Not so. The person that ended up on the ground, but the grab just short of the end zone line.
Okay.
Went up, this clean grab across, reached across, snagged, brought it back.
Well, Pony now with the disc again, just outside the end zone line. Again, they were just on the doorstep, now sealing the deal.
Yeah, Pony really starting to pull away. Yeah, they looked just kind of stagnant, low energy, making some mistakes. I'm really liking, again, talking about the depth of this Pony team and that they have players that they need to see executing and performing now. Complete capacity, and I almost think it's a better opportunity for them in the scenario to not have their best known players, because in the club, you really want to use the full width of that roster.
Well, and in that Revolver game, we could see in the score that just happened, Revolver is face guarding, which is something they are doing a lot yesterday during their semi. And the downside of face guarding is that you can put the disc out to space and just let your receiver run onto it without the defender seeing where it was. And that's exactly what Pony took advantage of there.
Well, and something you haven't heard us talk about, because it's not the 8th person on the field, virtually no wind. Check here, this gorgeous toss from Molly.
Nice inside-out throw.
Those are the throws that Valeria's known for.
Yeah, Henderson saying, money. Gave it to me on a platter.
And again, in this field pass, we're seeing some pretty close games happening. Again, to your point, Pony, Revolver, a little bit of a disparity of score right now. Pony perhaps, quote, finding their stride, or now understanding the notion of utilizing depth of roster. But nice thing is that we are seeing a comeback coming from Bravo. Question will be for Bravo is, can they get this next break and tie this game up? And really a kind of we use the word barn burner happening with Brute Sixers. It's just going back and forth.
Barn burner seems to be like the word of the weekend.
Is it?
I have heard multiple people describing various games as barn burners. There's a barn burner of a game here. There's a barn burner of a game there.
Well, give me an alternative.
The barn can only burn once.
There are multiple barns.
My husband would agree with you. There always need to be extra structures. There's always more that we can put in there.
And Ring with a very clean hold, efficient hold on the bottom left of your screen down there, saying, Bravo, you're not coming back into this game that easy.
Sixers scoring in the bottom right of your screen, getting ready to pull again, extending their lead to 10-9.
Love the celebration from Matt Dameron. Too hot.
It is too hot.
That was a hold from Sixers after 2 Brute Squad scores in a row. So they are on serve and really making this a close and feisty game.
And to your point earlier, this is an inter-regional matchup for these two teams. This is a preview of what's going to happen in 3 weeks.
Yeah. High release backhand from Fury, knocked away by Molly Brown on the left side of your screen.
I think she was looking for that quick attack to the cone, and Opie instead Opie Payne looking to maybe turn the corner and attack the more open side of the end zone for the flick look, but.
Now we're at the top right of your screen. Revolver with the disc, about 5 yards outside the end zone line. Fancy footwork.
Getting the disc in the end zone. We've seen a lot of fancy footwork this weekend. Players have, in this, I think particularly when you think about generational divides, and the younger generation of players have done a really excellent job learning how to play lines of fields. I think that before, in our generation slap, having players that are, we didn't play on line fields like when we were first playing.
These kids, they don't know how good they have it.
They don't. Having spectator lines and player lines.
So Zoe Hecht, bottom right of your screen, big huck went up to her, had to turn, crane around to find it, tracked it down, comes down with the score for Brute.
And looks like tie game now back up at the top left of your screen. Molly got the D, gave it right back. Fury then shutting the door down there. Tie game on the top left of your screen.
So as we start to frame these games within the round, we have just under 18 minutes left before the soft cap goes on. Soft cap here is a +1 situation.
So now it makes you wonder if any of these games are actually going to get to 15, which is surprising because so many games got there yesterday.
Yeah, they really jumped out, and we're seeing a little bit more parity. Teams focusing in, adjusting their strategies. I will say we saw a lot of that yesterday, of teams coming out really hot and aggressive, trying different things, but then dialing in and really getting each other's number in the second half.
I mean, I think that we would expect that from these placement games, right? Like, these are two teams that just lost in semis, as opposed to pool play games where sometimes there's more of a disparity between the relative strength of the teams. These teams have proven themselves over the course of the weekend with their play in these moments, meaning that they would be games between evenly matched teams.
Well, again, let's be clear. We're seeing the third place game happening on the right, the fifth place game happening on the left as well. And for Ring and Bravo, they did not get the opportunity to play in those pre-semis. They've been playing, I would call up from the bracket into these games.
Meaning that they're well matched and well deserved to be here because they both played their way up successfully.
Disputing your point. I'm simply acknowledging that their paths looked different.
Beautiful.
And I'm in agreement with you about the lined fields.
So something I want to note, just for the audience out there, you can feel the intensity ramping up as we're getting closer to the end of some of these games. Sidelines are louder. Just the ambient noise has increased as a whole as teams are really, really engaged in trying to pick up their teammates and push through to the finale of these games.
And nice clean hold coming from Molly at the top left of your screen. To your point, this is where execution really starts to matter. This is your opportunity now to get the all-important break, because especially when you're talking about the soft cap situation, which is now a +1, that singular break can be the difference between winning and losing a game.
Yeah, in that Molly game, Perez again using their legs, executing and getting down the field for that score.
Seeing a replay of that in the upper left of your screen. Manu to Perez.
God, Perez has just been a champion for Molly this weekend.
And now looking at the bottom right of your screen, a huck going up just too far for Sixers. Now Brute with a chance to be able to move the disc very quickly, and we're seeing a lot of that coming from the Brute defense. Moving a little too fast. Nope, it was a retracted or uncontested call.
Yeah, that Sixers shot had been intended for Cindy Truong. She got up and just couldn't make the play.
Bravo with the hold at the bottom left of your screen there, making this another 2-point game. And Revolver with the score on the top right of your screen. They're not going quietly into the night.
Good play on their name there. I see what you did.
Thank you. Hey, listen, I'm here to be punny.
Har. And you're doing a phenomenal job. Happy to have you.
I'm going to take that as a genuine compliment.
I think you should.
Looks like a drop coming from Fury. Now Molly with a chance to break.
Just popping off the chest of OP Payne.
Replay in the upper right of your screen. Shot down the line from Revolver. Really easy goal. That's the kind of offense we like to see. And, you know, those shots down with the narrow windows on the line today are much more open and available today. Again, like we've talked about before, because the wind circumstances are so dramatically different.
And I do want to point out this Bravo Ring game now back to a 1-point game, but looks like Ring finding an outlet pass and into the end zone, ensuring that that 2-point cushion remains.
Yeah, really excellent awareness there from Sean Wiles. Knew where the line was and just barely towed himself across.
The visual of Ring in the orange jerseys, hopping himself into the end zone and then giving himself the observer, like hands straight up by your side and then straight up into the air. You'll see it here in the bottom of your screen. Because we see the observers in orange, it looks really perfect there the way he does that. Really well executed, great celebration.
You know, you have seen a wide variety of celebrations coming from teams, but in all 3 divisions, let's be clear. Seems like teams are spending practice time coming up with some of these spikes/celebrations.
Is it practice time or is it what the players do for fun?
I thought practice is fun time.
Chris Kotcher on the top of the screen. Commentator's curse. As I say, working. Towed it in, got the up line, but then also turfs the disc.
Molly with the break.
Watching the replay there. And now we're back to, on the right side of your screen, Revolver with a chance to break.
Bringing their game to 1.
Nice break around.
Both games currently at 12-10 right now.
Kearns with the disc. Finds.
There's some sort of call. You know you can tell there's a call when you start to see the sideline celebrate and they're like, no, don't go onto the field.
It's an observed game. We'll get some sort of PMF or TMF.
I do think actually all of our observers are in the finals right now for this tournament.
Muscle memory. That turf field all day yesterday did have observers.
It is good practice for teams to make sure that they are, waiting and not celebrating, regardless of whether or not they're observers. Bravo score in the bottom left of your screen. Fun little flip the disc celebration. And as we check in on our final game that is going on, Phoenix playing #1 seeded Scandal after their barn burner of a game against Fury yesterday.
We will find another phrase.
Phoenix is currently up 12-11 in that final. That game started at 9 o'clock, so we are about an hour and 20 minutes into that game.
Phoenix had taken half with a pretty comfortable lead, so I really like that Scandal is fighting their way back into that game.
Seems to be the theme for Scandal now. But the nice thing now is we're seeing, again, a lot of other teams closing gaps here. These are now 1-2 point games happening on all 4 of your screens here.
Which speaks to the parity in these teams. Some really excellent matchups happening on your screen.
Though looking at the top left of your screen, I apologize, I don't know if we saw it. It looks like Molly's celebrating. Does that mean they got another break?
Sounds like they did get another break.
Again, game of runs. That's a 3-point run for Molly.
The danger of runs is when you run out of time, though.
And
execute it.
Getting the replay here in the upper left of your screen.
People really love that little corner. That little, like, let me just dish it to you. This almost is like a handoff now.
I mean, if it works, if you can blow by your defender in that upline space, it's, that handoff, there's not a lot of room for the defender to get in there to get a block without fouling someone.
I know, but we're getting to the point where I'm actually handing you the disc.
The disc does have to leave your hands legally. Otherwise, then it would be a violation, and that violation could be called.
We had a discussion about that last night where, especially we're talking very early in people's careers, in high-win situations, some players, we'll call it in the college setting, having to be instructed that, no, you could not hand someone the disc. You're like, but I don't want to let go. It's scary.
And now looking at the bottom left of your screen, Bravo with a chance to tie this game. Ring overthrowing their receiver downfield.
Opie with a second drop. Sorry, interruption of flow on the Revolver game.
This is the nature of Field Pass. As I said, this is great for people with ADHD. I don't know which screen to look at. I don't know where to tell you to look at either. I mean, you might be looking at the top right of the screen asking me why you're talking to me about Bravo.
Because Bravo's making a comeback, and that's where you should be looking right now.
Deep shot. It looks like everyone has stopped, so I suspect that there was some sort of call.
Say, when in doubt, do what Charlie tells you to.
In the top left of your screen, Molly Brown knocking on the end zone, blocked by Fury.
Foot block there?
I think it was a hand block.
Yeah, I think it was hand. Big scary mark. I think that's something that sometimes teams don't give enough credit to is the importance of the mark in the game and being able to stop these big hucks in order to be able, not just getting blocks, but making those windows smaller.
Imanishi coming through for Fury. Gosh, Imanishi has just put everything on the line. What a tournament for Imanishi also.
So we'll see the block again.
Foot block, as called.
See, now we're going to start betting on replays now.
That sounds like a fun game. We should do that.
All right, well, listen, let's continue to walk to bottom left of your corner because this is about to be a tie game. Bravo has a chance to tie up this game and really fundamentally alter what this outcome of the game may look like. Now, if you're looking at the bottom right of your screen, Bruton Sixers have been basically locked in at 10-10 for about the last 7 or 8 minutes. This has been a long point. Timeout's been called. We see a disc now hanging in the air. Brute with the two-handed grab. Now looking into the end zone. Not quite in. Just outside. Nice layout to save possession. And there is the score for Brute.
And looking top right of your screen, Revolver not out of this game. They've closed the gap. It is a 1-point difference. Pony just not quite able to put the hammer down and finish it out.
And Bravo ties it up. Bottom left of your screen.
Pellegrini was instrumental in that final Brute squad possession for them to score the goal.
And let's talk about this bottom left of your screen. That's a 4-point lead that's been erased by Bravo. It was 8-4 at half. Bravo now tying up this game, just about to hit the soft cap. Now this all-important next point will determine what are we playing to and who is going to have the lead going into the soft cap being called.
And I love the tenacity of this Bravo team. It pops up over the head of the intended receiver, but they're still engaged, and Connor Tabor able to track it down.
Now Brute with the lead at 11-10 on the bottom right of your screen. They're going to be pulling to Sixers, looking to hold, keep Sixers from scoring, and ideally put that game away. Now, if you're at the top right of your screen, you're Pony right now. Your job is to put this game away. This should get the D on Revolver, and then by and large, given the amount of cap that we have left, that game should be done.
Zooming in on that game.
Marquez Brownlee with a massive pull.
I heard he's famous.
Heard he's the richest person in Ultimate.
Be a good bit of investigative journalism.
Oh, just behind the Revolver player. Again, Pony's job, score this goal.
You can see them taking their time to set up their offense. Seeing a lot of vertical stacks this weekend amongst the elite teams.
What's old is new. Looks like there's a foul call on the up line again, looking for that little dishy throw. Some discussion about whether there was too much contact on the up line.
Manuela with the score, top left of your screen for Molly.
That's a really impressive score. Fury had taken a time out to try to recenter themselves, and Molly's still able to push through with that momentum to get that next break there.
Yeah, Manuela blew by the Fury defenders.
And this is what happens when Molly Brown is fresh. You know, they can run the players that they want in the positions that they want. And players like Manuela are virtually undefendable.
Now looking at the bottom left of your screen, Ring with the all-important hold now, having given up 4 points. Now keeping the lead, the goal for Bravo at this point, score and make it another even game.
I do want to circle back to Molly. What I loved about the shot from Pelletier is with Manuela as the target, threw out to space, did get it far enough out, didn't have Manuela slowing down, really playing into her speed.
Ooh, bottom right of your screen, did Sixers keep that disc in? Looks like yes, that is a tie game now, 11-11 between Brute and Sixers.
That was a really great toe the line, back of the end zone grab.
And Pony with the break.
Yeah, Jacobson has just been clutch, up and down, made big defensive plays, and has been, I want to see the numbers on this, but I think a high scorer for Sixers.
Well, so now again, looking at the top right of your screen, perhaps the back-breaking break for Pony against Revolver. Easy open score. I think that's Brownlee.
Yeah, Marquez Brownlee again.
Now turning into, on your left, again, the third place game between Fury and Molly. Fury down 3 points, soft cap coming, and on the right of your screen, we are seeing the Bravo Ring game. Bravo needing the hold right now, looking downfield.
Yeah, shot went up. Molly was able to put pressure. Chastain zooming in on that.
Unfortunate read by Bravo on the right side of your screen. It was not it wasn't a bad deep look, but defender forced Bravo to go up early, resulting in the turnover. Now Ring with the chance to break, and again, perhaps assert that the game is theirs.
Yeah, Soljanik will pick up for Ring.
Molly with the disc now. Fury having coughed it up. Looks like a timeout called by Molly. They're going to talk about it. They want to end this game.
I love how Ring is really spent a lot of time talking with teams about active versus inactive space. Ring is doing a really good job in their cutting flow of creating openings in the active space as Bravo gets Callahan. At least a flip up. Just a really fast score. What happened to Ring?
Listen, I think this is a great testament to Bravo. It is very hard to come back on day 3, having been down for knowing that you have flights to catch in about 3 hours. Tying up this game, that's great. This is an exciting game on the bottom left of your screen. Really exciting game happening between Brute and Sixers right now. You really do not know what the outcome of that game will be. It's hard to tell momentum between Brute and Sixers, and frankly, right now, I still think momentum is with Bravo.
Yeah, we have just over a minute before the cap goes on. In the bottom left, you saw that goal from Bravo to tie that back up. You know, a thing I think about in the club season is the impact of the ADL teams. If we look in the upper right of our screen, Pony has just scored their final goal to seal their win, 15-11 over Revolver. We're getting a replay of that score here.
Just a nice deep look, open space. You know, I will offer, if you didn't have your hands out like that, you wouldn't have had to lay out for that goal.
You see the two teams lining up, just happy that they had their hands on it, able to close possession.
All right, and then the top left of your screen, again, Molly on the doorstep. This is a chance for them to end this game. Now, Charlie, this will come back to your question of can they be possession-oriented or are they going to get creative right now?
And it'll come back to your question of when you call a timeout outside of the end zone, stopping your flow, does that help you or hurt you?
Yeah, a bit of a zipper flood play there. Clearing out to make the space. It only really gained them 2 yards. And then they overthrow on the reset.
Does that give you satisfaction?
It does. It really does.
Are you saying Molly should be creative, play their game?
No. About timeouts. That calling timeouts outside of the end zone, like that stop flow, is often counterproductive.
On the bottom right of your screen now, you see a Brute with the score, taking the 12-11 lead at the all-important soft cap now. That means it is a game likely to 13 on the bottom right of your screen. Bottom left of your screen, now knowing that it's 13-13, next score will dictate what that game goes to.
Ring had a chance to score, gave the disc to Bravo.
And Fury capitalizing on that turnover. It is now a 14-12 game, still game to 15 for Molly and Fury.
Fun kick block celebration by Samia Ismail for Brute Squad in the bottom right of your screen. They are now between points, zooming in on that Ring Bravo game. This would be an opportunity for Bravo to break, to go up here.
And at this point, this game is to 15 either way. Cap is on, but they will play it out.
Because cap is applied after this point is finished, since it went on while the point was in progress.
They are looking for the deep look. It's just not coming, but credit Bravo right now with just hitting the resets, knowing that they have to maintain possession here.
Yeah, you can see the level here, the level of intensity of the sidelines just continuing to rise and pick up.
I think it's because the mixed team showed up. Again, the next round for all of you at home who have Field Pass will be the mixed division rounds. The 3rd place, 5th place, 7th place, and 9th place games will be coming at you.
Oh, and please tell us, who are you rooting for in those games? Do you have any opinions about any of those, any hot takes on those games that are about to happen?
First of all, Charlie, you know me well enough to know that I always have opinions.
I know, I'm prompting you. Please share your opinions.
So eyes back on this Brute Sixers. Brute with possession. They could go up 2 here over Sixers.
And unfortunately for Bravo, lost possession. Ring now with the disc.
Molly Brown back with possession again. Big Huck. This could be the game decider.
Really nice movement from Ring. And they close the door.
Question about whether or not Manu was inbounds or out of bounds.
Terrific effort from Manuela, but it does look like calling herself out of bounds.
Ring now with the lead on Bravo. Bravo will now have to hold and break to win this game.
Yeah, I really appreciate that from Manuela there, because I don't think that she had her feet down. I believe her first point of contact was her chest, which was out of bounds.
And Sixers now with the disc on the top right of your screen, looking to tie this game up at 12s.
Fury and Bravo both in do or die positions at this point.
Definitely.
Both in these games to 15 have their backs up against the wall. Cannot let the team score anymore.
Ooh, unfortunate turnover from the Sixers. That IO throw really just didn't hang. And now Brute going the other way, moving too quickly, but 3 Sixers receivers or defenders in the area.
In the Mali game, Kawabata thought about a fast break, but instead will make the cut. Comes up with the disc and gets the score.
And that's it. That finishes us off for Molly Brown and Fury.
Tremendous effort there from Molly to put away the game.
And just to be clear, I'm pretty sure that's the opposite scoreline that we saw on Saturday, where Fury took the game 15-12. In this instance, Molly taking it 15-12 the other way.
Which just shows you, you're saying best of 3, who's going to win it. That this can be anyone's game. This is really, really a fun rivalry and matchup that we are seeing here. Getting a replay of that bid by Manuela. Really beautiful bid. Knows that she's out of bounds.
And now at the bottom of your screen, hanging disc for Bravo. Too much contact.
Inbounds, out of bounds. In the upper left, you saw the replay of that final goal for Molly.
That is a score for her Bravo. That is a 14-14 game now. It looks like clearly a lot of contact with the first receiver, but second effort coming in for Bravo, tying up this game. This game is now next point wins.
Yeah, you can see some conversation going on between Matt Guchohannes and Cody Spicer. Interesting body language there. Definitely a lot of contact. I think Guchohannes thinking like how to play on the disc. But yeah, would love to see a replay of that.
So 2 of our games are done. 2 of them are still in play.
And now we can already talk about the women's division, just so you know. Phoenix taking the win over Scandal 15-13, finishing first, Scandal second. Now because of this third place game, Molly finishing third, Fury finishing fourth. The 5th game still to be decided, but a great grab by Brute on the right.
So another look at this, you can see Guchohannes in pursuit. Spicer there, eyes on the disc, a lot of contact.
That's such a great bit.
Yeah, absolutely terrific effort from Seth Harris then.
I still need you all to see the replay on the right. That Brute grab was great in the end zone. That was a long point. And again, now if you're looking at the left, this is a double pinpoint situation for Ring Bravo. Let's see the replay now coming from Brute. You see the receiver streaking deep. Thought about it. Nice patience. Even better finish. Trailing edge grab by Brute squad to finish out this point.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Is that Jaylee Cruz with the grab? That would be her second huge grab, if so.
So now at this point, Brute relatively in control. This is a game to 14. Sixers need to now score 3 in order to win this game. That was a great, great possession for Brute to really, make this very difficult for Sixers to come back.
Yeah, for Sixers energy, but time also very much the enemy. Scoring 3 in the 9 minutes left, real big task.
So if you take a look on your screen, what Kelsey is referring to, that clock is now giving you the time until hard cap. And so at hard cap, the game is over unless it is tied, at which point you would play out the point. So it will not be a factor for Ring Bravo. This is still at universe point, but if Sixers does try to mount a comeback, it could be impactful for them. However, Brute now has the luxury of having multiple opportunities to score to get themselves to 14.
All right, so now we start pacing bets. Ring clean hold, yes or no?
Yes.
Ooh, I say no. I like to be controversial.
I think that Ring's offense has generally looked really clean here. I know that Bravo's been pushing the pace and has gotten some blocks, but I trust that they have the experience and the wherewithal to be able to close out this point.
And now Brute getting the D with a chance to end this game.
Nice inside shot up the field for Brute.
Brute already in their end zone set. Really nice patience from Ring right now. You know, it's very tempting to just look for the deep look.
You want to end it. You want to wrap it up.
This is what happens when you're process oriented. You stick with the process and it gives you those big wins. Goal for Brute Squad, 14-11 over Sixers, and they clinch 5th place.
Well, let's see about what's happening in this Ring Bravo game. Looks like there was some sort of call, loss of possession, but Ring still with the disc.
Getting a replay in the right of your screen of the Brute Squad block, followed by the possession that takes them to the win in this game.
Inside backhand, love that execution. Contested, but still completed.
And a nice statement win for Brute, right? You know, we were talking earlier about, is this up or down? Is this inconsistency? But I will say, again, knowing that we're about to go into regionals, about to go into the qualifiers for nationals, that's got to feel real good for Brute.
So this is our only game that is left.
And again, let's be clear, this started with Bravo erasing a 4-point lead from the first half, now with a chance to try and keep Ring from scoring and potentially steal a win.
A little bit of contact on the defense, just coming in on 0, getting that stoppage of play that stops their offensive momentum, but also gives them the opportunity to reset as they're looking at their end zone.
Yeah, this point is a grind. Bravo really isn't giving anything up. They're making Ring work for every single foot on this field.
Yeah, and we're starting to see some of the parts of Ultimate that I don't love, where calls get a little bit more ticky-tacky in these high-pressure situations. So, you know, let's play Ultimate, but
that said, end zone is it's very hard to create clear lanes in end zone, and so I appreciate and acknowledge that point, but there's not a lot of space when you're down to the last 20 yards. And there's the D. There's the D by Bravo. Now the question is, will they smartly hold possession? It's very easy to get excited and just work on the adrenaline right now and look for a huck. Good for Bravo for not releasing that throw right now.
Oh, Spicer has cool for days.
All right, now Bravo with the disc. They're about halfway down the field. This is just about possession. IO throw.
Finding the inside lanes.
Looks like there was some sort of call, a discussion about whether there was a pick. Disc is going to go back.
I want to highlight that the block happened on an inside shot. We've talked a lot this weekend about how forcing those inside shots, especially on the end zone line, give your defender a lane, and that's exactly what happened here. It gave Bravo the space, and now they are knocking on the end zone themselves.
He's thought about it. Yep, saw it, thought about it again. Bravo with the, I'm not going to call it improbable comeback, but the comeback over Ring. Erasing a 4-point lead, taking the win 15-14.
Jackson Cochran did a cross-field shot, loved the touch on it, and Noah Kuhlman was right near the edge, managed to track it down. That's an impressive win for Bravo.
Seeing the replay on your screen now.
And now watch, you'll see him see it, and he'll hold. Look at his eyes. He sees it, says, yes, it's actually there, then throws it. Great.
And I loved the fake of how strong is the defender going to react. Defender didn't turn, takes the shot.
There might have been a slight travel there.
But, you know, hey, in spirit, we played through it. Did the travel actually impact the game?
Really, I mean, Bravo, what a great win for them at the end of this tournament. Again, this has just been an exciting round of Ultimate, and I'm excited to see the next round.
Okay, so in recap, Molly Brown takes third. Pony also coming away with the third place. Brute places 5th, and Bravo wrapping it up, taking 5th place. We're going to come back here shortly with some mixed division. Come back and join us. Kelsey Percy.
Charlie Mercer.
Manisha Dariani, watch my game. The Polar Bears are playing for 5th. 7th, I'm sorry.
No biases
Come
here.
back on Field Pass. We'll have all the action in the mixed division happening here starting in 18 minutes.